Ladies and gents, my name is Reiki Keto, also known as James Alderson, and I am the program manager for Ronin Rumble. Today, we're going to be doing a community highlight on one of our up and coming members of our community, CD Lime. CD Lime has been a consistent person in our community. He's been going to a lot of different Run Rumbles, and recently, in episode 5 of season 2, he got third place. We're really excited to have this time to talk with him, and I just want to say thank you to CD Lime for coming and talking with us. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the compliment of up and coming. I'm going to keep that one.
Well, I would say that I have seen you a couple of times in our tournament, but also the fact that I have not seen you hit third place before. So you're on the uptrend, sir. You're coming up there. Might see you become one of our Ronin Rumble champions. So I want to get you in early.
Knock on wood on that one. Got to get there first, though.
Well, first things first, I want to learn a little bit about you. And our first question is, tell me about yourself and where you're from.
For sure. So yeah, like I said before, my handle is CD Lime, and I am a member of Chip Damage, which is the Winnipeg, Manitoba fighting community. We're up here in Canada, and yeah, I've been playing fighting games with the scene here for around a decade. I got started actually way back in the day with Marvel 3, so I'm an old Marvel 3 kid. And for me, it kind of started from there, but snowballed as I was going through high school. I played lots of Marvel 3. I got into YouTube channels like Max, A Million Dude, and the Two Best Friends. And kind of once I got out of high school, I wanted to take a step into the deep end and found my local scene. And kind of from there, it just kept going forward and forward. Yeah, that's kind of me. I'm very community focused, and that's where I started.
Excellent. I appreciate that. And my next question is, what do you like about fighting games, and how does GBVS fit that?
Yeah, so I predominantly, before GBVS, was a big anime player. Specifically, I really liked Guilty Gear Exiled Revelator 2. In a lot of ways, I think it is the game I found myself as a fighting game player in. But coming up before the release of Granblue, there was something about the game that looked very interesting to me, and it came at a time when I was really trying to push myself as a player, and I liked that it blended a lot of the things I liked from Guilty Gear and other anime games, like a lot of the fast speed, interesting character mechanics, that sort of thing, but with a slower kind of Street Fighter pace. And I think ultimately it shook out to be a little more Street Fighter than it was Guilty Gear, but those I just remember those first couple trailers coming out and thinking like, wow, this game looks awesome. I need to play this for sure. Yeah, and it was I kind of from there it took off, and I've been playing the game ever since launch.
Excellent, excellent. And this question is going to segue into it. Who is your main and why?
Yeah, so I am a Lancelot picker.
Oh, you're
Uh,
one of those people.
Yes, yes. You know what? The one thing I tell people, he is one of the absolute best investments you can make in the game. Since day one, you could not bet wrong if you were betting on Lancelot. But yeah, I originally I had planned to play Loain. I had played the game back at Frosty Faustings with their demo station back in 2020 there, and I was really into Loain. I was talking about people with the game, and I was like, yeah, man, he's going to be great. And then on launch, he just kind of sucked. And a big goal I had coming into Granblue was in other games, I picked a lot of characters based on aesthetics and what I liked, but I always kind of valued that stuff over character strength. And Granblue was the first time where I was like, no, I'm going to find a top tier that I think looks cool and plays the way I want to play. And Lancelot kind of very naturally was that for me, especially at season one. I think that character was incredibly easy to play. But I also think that, and I think time has proven this to be true, that Lancelot is the kind of character that if you're losing with Lancelot, it's probably your fault. If we're being honest, he has a lot of tools that make him very strong, but as a result, uh, I tend to believe that if you aren't winning with them, there's something wrong. And for me, that's I like that. I like the idea that if I'm losing, it's because there's something missing from my game plan, and it personally for me makes it a lot easier to identify those issues and kind of adapt and develop my own play style from that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know what? I got a follow up question for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
who do you think is the best Lancelot in North America? And that's including like Canada, that's including the United States, and that's also include Mexico. So, who do you think is the best?
I mean, that's a big question, and I have answers for all three. So I'm gonna, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna just run through all of them because I've watched a lot of Lancelots in my time here. So as far as Canada is concerned, I don't think I'm the best Lancelot. Far be it, do I think I'm even the best Canadian player? I know, crazy, but I there's a lot of really strong players in Canada. I am. Especially on the East Coast, we have there's a pretty solid team of folks in like places like Quebec and stuff like that. But recently, through the PC scene, I was introduced to a person by the name, or they go by the handle of Tinker. And they are a prairie Lancelot like myself. And they are awesome. I haven't watched too much of their stuff, but I really like what I've seen. So if you're looking for good Canadian Lancelot players, I'd watch them. Um, US is a lot bigger of a question because there are a lot of really good Lancelots, as it turns out, on the East and West Coast. Off the top of my head, East Coast for sure is when they were playing Omniscythe was one of my favorites to watch. I think Tega has an amazing play style. I really, really love watching Tega play the game. I think he's one of the more enjoyable Lancelots to watch for sure. And I think King John, who is I know he is a Ronin Rumble regular, but I really like King John's play. I think they're all really, as far as like up to date Lancelots are concerned, especially in North America. I think those are some of the best to be watching if you're trying to replicate a style. And then West Coast, I will admit I'm not quite as familiar with the current crop of Lancelots out there. But I will say one of my absolute favorite Lancelots, and I think if he had really stuck with the game, or if he had a good reason to stick with the game, rather, would have been absolutely one of not even just one of the best Lancelots, but one of the best players in North America was Kizzy K. In particular, if you want to see the set that made me like think he would be the best like Granblue player in North America, let alone like whatever, was his set near launch with him and Justin Wong. Obviously, the characters in that it's Catalina versus Gran, and those characters are very different now than they were before. But I think a lot of the craft that went into that set is still super appreciable today. And I think if you're looking for something to watch, I highly, highly recommend going back and watching that set. And then for Mexico, is a person by the name of Romantic Style. I've encountered them a bunch through the Ronin Rumble tournaments. I unfortunately haven't been able to play them too much myself, just because Canada Mexico is not a great connection always. But I really enjoy watching their play, especially when you're in tournament and you're kind of sitting in between matches. It's fun to watch the other bracket, right? Because a lot of times we're not going to fight. At best, you're going to win the tournament and fight one other person from that side of the bracket, right? So I really enjoy watching a lot of Romantic Styles play. And if you're wanting actually a really good set with Romantic Style, their last grand final, West Coast grand final set with, I believe it was Origin Tree was who they were fighting, is a really, really excellent set. So I would highly recommend watching it. But yeah, all of those Lancelots are amazing. There are so many good Lancelots in North America. It's he is a character that is lots of great players play. But if I had to pick a favorite of the bunch, I definitely have to go with Tega. I don't know if I'm comfortable calling anybody the best Lancelot in North America, but if there was one Lancelot I could just keep watching forever is Tega. I think that guy pushes himself and pushes his play with Lancelot pretty often when he plays the character. Obviously, he's a character. Um, he plays a lot of characters right now, so he isn't always playing Lance. But when he does, I find that his style is one that's very fluid, and he's always busting out new stuff. He's always pushing it as far as his play is concerned, and like I feel like even a couple of weeks ago, I saw him post on Twitter some new setups. So if you're looking for a really good NA Lancelot to watch, I highly recommend Tega. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sure he'd really appreciate that. All right. One last question. What are your personal goals in Granblue Fantasy Versus?
For me right now, it's kind of tough. I personally reassess my goals pretty frequently. I do this thing where even if I haven't accomplished a goal necessarily, if I feel like a big change or I've made a big change has happened in my gameplay, or I've made a really big step forward in what I want to be doing, I tend to kind of take stock and reassess my goals and change them on the fly. So as of right now, for short-term stuff, I think it's a lot of just getting better at game knowledge, learning matchups, learning situations. I just need to be better about a lot of those smaller details. But bigger picture, and this has kind of been, the biggest thing that's been driving my competitive play over the last year is I really, really want to have a really major, an offline major tournament run that I personally can feel very proud of. I don't necessarily it would be awesome to hit like top 16, top 8, top 3, whatever. But I think for me, the biggest thing I would want for my Granblue kind of career would be just to have that one tournament that I could say, no, I did it. I feel good about my play. I feel that experience was exactly, what I've been working towards. And that's kind of the big end goal right now. And kind of the nice thing about having a goal like that is it makes all my short-term goals. It gives me reasons to keep finding new ones, rather, just because it's, I that one's kind of out of my control, right? I can't make a new major happen, but what I can do in the meantime is I can develop my play and keep kind of finding ways to just optimize my Lancelot more and more every day.
Oh, thank you very much, Lime. I really appreciate you telling me a little bit about that. And also, I'm really rooting for you, especially when we get out of COVID-19 crazy
Yeah,
and go on to something, a little bit better. But,
totally.
I have another question. I've really been
Yeah.
thinking about, you'd mentioned this earlier, that you have some
Mm-hmm.
pets, right?
Yes.
I'm a big pet man myself. So
Yeah.
please tell me a little bit about your pets.
Yeah, we were chatting about it a bit before we got this thing going. I have two cats. I love them very much. I have Beans and Sally. Beans is my young baby cat. She is full of energy and likes to eat cardboard in the middle of the night, which is awesome. It's very, very appropriately cat thing to do. And then my older cat is Sally. She's an old lady. She's very sweet, but she's very talkative. She likes to yap a lot, so it's very fun. We're currently in the process of trying to introduce them to each other, and it is a lot of it is just making sure they don't claw each other's face off for the time being. And end goal, I'm really hoping they can just put up with each other, and that would be honestly that would mean the world to me. They don't have to be best friends, so long as they don't totally hate each other. I'll be happy.
You're asking a lot of cats.
You know what? That's okay. I knew what I was getting into. I like cats. That's how it goes.
All right, Lime. So hit the people with where they can follow you at, and we'll end it right here.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. So, best way to find me is on Twitter, CD_Lime. If you see me on Ranked, it's in my name card. You know where to find me. But that's where that's where I post most of my stuff at this point. But if you're interested in knowing more about my own local scene, or if you somehow are a person who lives in the area and just first finding out about that there's a scene in Winnipeg, check out on Twitter at Chip Damage. That's the name of our local scene out here. When in-person stuff was a little more frequent, we were running a lot of events, but we have a community Discord. and a lot of really great resources and people who are, if you're getting into games now, especially, we're kind of stuck in the house a lot more frequently and you might have a little more time to learn a fighting game. I would totally reach out to them because they're a great bunch of folks. Nothing but like, they're the reason I'm here. Totally. So yeah, check out Chip Damage. Check out my Twitter. That's my plugs.
Ladies and gents, be sure to check out Lime on Twitter, but also be sure to check out Chip Damage. You can follow them at Chip Damage, or you can follow them on Twitch and YouTube at Chip Damage 1. You can also check out their website, chipdamage.com.
Yeah, we have a fancy website. I don't know how often we update on it anymore, but we have a fancy website. It's awesome.
All right, ladies and gents, that's me. I'm Reiki Keto, and
I'm CD Lime, and thanks so much for having me on here, guys. It was an absolute pleasure.
We'll catch you around real soon. Later days.